Well, in this chapter, a ton of stuff happens, but really the most important and relevant thing is the fact that Robin's mother, Olvia, appears on the island of Ohara. One Piece, Chapter 393, Olvia. Well, this is what starts, I think, the sad tale that we're about to go on. That's what my feeling, my gut tells me that, it's not a good feeling. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and fellow scholars and archaeologists of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and flashback-heavy and Robin's mom, Olvia's freaking hot tale of One Piece. Now, our last chapter, of course, saw Robin, the younger version of Robin in her flashback at 8 years old, meeting and befriending the giant Saul, who we found out as Jaguar D. Saul, and really just kind of, that's how the chapter went with that, between that and certainly finding out that the scholars, the archaeologists of Ohara have been secretly, of course, trying to study anything they can about the Poneglyphs and, of course, that missing 100 years, the Void Century, I guess you would call it. So, things wound up leaving off with, of course, Robin revealing her powers to Saul, and Saul really just kind of, giving the theme that we had for the whole chapter, which is, hey, life sucks, but you can still smile and be happy and laugh. And that's how things left off, really. And things pick up right there, too. I'm assuming it's been a couple more days now. Saul has healed up a little bit. He's created and made his raft, and he's about to go off and sail, leave Ohara. And Robin has found herself a friend, obviously, in him, so she doesn't want him to. She's like, oh, you're leaving already? And he goes, well, it's all right. I still needed to make a flag and stuff, so he's thinking of excuses to stick around for a little bit longer. And really what this does is it winds up serving to go and tie things together, because Robin talks about her mother, and that when she does come back one day, she's this famous archaeologist, and now Robin is an archaeologist, so she'll be able to go out with her mother, Olvia, and go and I don't know if I should pronounce it Olvia, like Olivia, or if I should pronounce it like Olive, like Alvia. Anyway, I don't think she's going to be sticking around for that long, at least not after the contents of this chapter were laid out. So, and it is, of course, a flashback. So, but nonetheless, though, what it does is it winds up serving the connection. Saul actually knows of her mother and actually knows of the scholars of Ohara, and winds up telling Robin, you don't understand. The world government is coming to, because when Robin first starts telling about that, and I'm studying this and I want to find out about that, he's just like, you can't ever tell anybody that, and then he starts to make the connection, and he's either heard of or he knows Robin's mother firsthand, and he winds up going and making that connection and says, you don't understand, the government's coming here to go and wipe out any scholars that there are, all the scholars and archaeologists of Ohara, and she's like, you're lying, and he's like, no, I'm not, I'm trying to tell you the truth, go into town and see if there's anything going on, if there's anything amiss. So it then takes us back into town, right? And we go into town, and we wind up seeing within, like, I don't know, a couple of panels, the scholars are being talked to by, of course, Nico Olvia over here, who actually has just a striking resemblance and almost the exact same look, but with white or blondish hair. Actually, I'm thinking, yeah, white, because of the, I just noticed that on the cover over there. I was wondering why Nico Robin had white hair in here. I was like, what the hell's with that? Who is her mother, who's also really freaking sexy. So anyway, we wind up finding out that she's somehow or another gotten there. The word on the street was that she had been captured by the Navy, I guess. That's what they had said in the last chapter, and that her fate has been decided and everything else. So the scholars are kind of like, what's going on? Well, I thought you were captured. And she's like, I was at one time. She says that the 33 scholars that wound up setting out to actually go on this 6-year journey to go and find out everything about these Poneglyphs and whatever they could, she's the only one that survived, and she was actually captured. And while she was captured by the government and questioned and tortured and what have you, as they went through all their belongings, they wound up coming to the conclusion that all these scholars and archaeologists came from Ohara. And obviously they're breaking this big government law that they put down, because the government doesn't want anybody to know about this missing 100-year history over here. So, and this all ties in, I noticed, 20 years ago, and I wonder what kind of tie-ins it actually has to. This is right around the time that Goldie Roger was going and sailing towards and discovering, we presume discovering and getting to the One Piece, right? So I don't know if that's eventually going to tie in timeline-wise or what, but I know that the timelines are right around the same, if I'm not mistaken, are right around the same time. So anyway, Olvia winds up going and telling everybody, you got to get the fuck out of Dodge, man. They're coming to eradicate everybody, And Clover and the other fools, basically, is what they are, is like, no, we've got too much stuff here, and knowledge and history and artifacts. We got to protect all this shit from, like, a dead, forgotten past. Instead of living to fight another day and finding other things, we're just going to be pig-headed and we're going to stay here. We're not leaving, right? So Olvia is like, what the hell, you know? And then they're like, is there anything else? And she's like, oh, I don't even have the right or deserve to see her. And then we see through a secondary flashback, a flashback within the flashback, if you will, we see 6 years before when Olvia actually set out with the other archaeologists on this expedition, how she was having trouble leaving Robin. And that actually kind of touched my heart because I thought about it and I thought it would be very, very difficult to leave your 2-year-old child. Apparently, she's fulfilling the wishes of her husband, who probably was killed or something tragic, I'm sure, happened to him while he's not around. So obviously her father's not there. At 2 years old, she was upset, crying all the time, lashing out. I still don't know how she got her devil fruit powers, at least as of yet, but she was left in the care of, obviously, Robin's, or Olvia's sister and husband. And you just kind of like see through like these little word bubbles of like, oh, why are we taking care of that kid? Why'd we even take her in? I don't care if it's your sister's kid. So basically just like scum shit uncle and aunts that don't give a fuck. They only give a fuck about their kid. And that's where the whole Cinderella thing has come in, where it's basically like, well, we got to have this burden on us, so let's put the burden to work, you know. So a very sad tale indeed. But really what winds up happening is we come out of that flashback, and as Robin is running through town, there's other people talking about, because obviously the ship has been sighted now, which we know, of course, is Spandine and the CP9. The world government ship has landed, and it's coming for them, you know, and it's a battleship. So everybody's like, this isn't going to be like the other times when they came to just kind of rough us up or hassle us a little bit, like they mean business. So as Olvia is running through town, somebody talks prior to that about some woman running through town shooting a gun. And as she runs, she goes and runs by Robin. And, you know, and I wonder if they actually even noticed each other. You know, Clover did tell Olvia that Robin's grown up to be this wonderful sky. She's so bright, she's so smart and everything else. But they wind up like 2 ships passing in the night. You know, they pass by each other. And there's like a little inner monologue word bubble that comes from Olvia that I think says mommy, or maybe it's from maybe it was from Robin, I forget. But anyway, it doesn't appear as if they actually notice each other. So it looks like they unfortunately wind up missing each other over here. There we go. Everyone said they're straight no matter what. Actually, I thought there was. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe there wasn't even a word bubble. I thought there was as she was running through town over there, though. But anyway, it appears that they did not wind up seeing each other. Spandine and crew, you know, gets off of their ship. And they're, here, actually, here it is, right here. Yeah, mommy. Who is it going to? Yeah, it looks like it's going to Olvia. Anyway, you can see it right there. And then, of course, that leads into the last page. So she's running around apparently trying to cause some ruckus and just kind of shoot up the town, so to speak, and get everybody just maybe kind of riled up and hopefully cause some commotion. Spandine and the CP9 members are trying to grab all the scholars, archaeologists, anybody that can read or write. You know, it's just like a crazy-ass, like, Gestapo type of World War II, you know, Hitler nonsense, it seems like. And the last page winds up actually being, I thought, the kicker. We see Admiral Aokiji, or Aokiji. We wind up seeing him, and he's actually, it says Kuzan, Navy Headquarters Vice Admiral. He was a Vice Admiral at the time, later to become Admiral Aokiji. Now, I remember somebody telling me that the names of the admirals are actually just like nicknames, or I don't know if they're like nicknames, surnames, names that were given because of maybe their powers or because of their rank or something like that, that precedes Admiral. But so I guess Kuzan, I'm assuming, is actually his real name. And Aokiji, or Aok, as I like to call him, is you know, is the given name for him. Maybe that has to do with his powers or something like that, or his position. So, but we wind up seeing him. He winds up, somebody wakes him up over there. They're on a ship somewhere here in the West Blue, somewhere at sea is all it says. So they go and they wake him up. Vice Admiral Kuzan, what is it? CP9 Chief Spandine reports that he has arrived in Ohara. And he's just like, what? Why is that so? What is so important that you had to wake me up? Pardon me, sir. And anyway, that's where it ends off over here. So I'm assuming this is what's going to go and lead into what eventually is the Buster call that winds up, and he's going to wind up heading that up, or calling that in, or giving the approval, whatever happens for it, because obviously we know that's going to happen. That's one of the things that shook Robin to her very core. So all in all, a very good chapter, but kind of depressing as well. So my chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is really, you know, it's kind of a tough one, because you want to say this, you want to ask that, but you don't want to go and get any spoilers, you know. I guess just my chapter question would be, what are your thoughts on Robin's mother, Olvia, and of course her decision to leave her young daughter to go and fulfill her late husband's wishes? Do you think it's more important to, you know, be a parent and take care of your kid? Because the other ones were like, hey, it's cool, we can go take care of fulfilling your husband's wishes for you, don't worry about it, we'll let you know. And we know, obviously, their fate was bad. we know what their fate wound up being anyway, they all died. But even if they didn't know that, or they did think everything was going to go good, Do you think it's more important to go and take care of your family responsibilities, or do you think it's more important to go and search for fame and glory and knowledge? I guess that's really the question that I have there. So what are your thoughts on Nico Robin's mother? And then obviously too, what are your thoughts on, is it more important to have that responsibility to family and friends, or is it more important, do you think, to go and have that hunger and fulfill that quest for knowledge? Because that's really what it is, the bottom line. She turned her back on her daughter so she could go and fulfill her husband's wishes of finding out about basically some shit that went down in the history, in the past, in a long dead, long forgotten civilization. Do I agree with it? Not particularly. I wouldn't do it that way, but hey, to each his own, and everybody's gonna walk their own path. So let me know what your answer is, or what path you would walk, in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation. Remember to subscribe to my other channels, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.